So here we are with our new show with Svitlana Demchenko. Hello and welcome.
Hello, Arnie.
So Svitlana is coaching me and of course you as the viewer with whatever her knowledge about chess is. So I'm very curious what you will show us. By the way, we haven't thought of a name for the show yet, but you will obviously, as a viewer, see what we have named the show. Not sure if it is Sveta's treasure chest or something else. We will see. We will see about this.
The topic that I've decided to pick for today is how to win winning positions. I could have also named it How to Win Better Positions, but I thought the first one was a little more dramatic. As, as it has been said by Emanuel Lasker, the hardest game to win is a one game.
So
And I would
true.
very much agree with this statement because I have extensive personal experience in messing up winning positions. Would you relate to that? Has that ever happened?
100%. 100%. It's there is even this psychological note that once you have, sometimes I had this when I was playing very often. Sometimes I had a better position and then I thought like, oh, please don't screw it up. Don't screw it up. Oh, come on. Everything is going to be okay. Just be careful. Yes, there is a little bit of a threat, but it's going to be fine. And then you really lose the position at one point. So yes, a very, very good theme. I'm happy you're choosing this. Good. Let's learn
Yeah,
something.
yeah, me too. It's the most annoying feeling in the world
Yeah.
when you know you're winning, but you just somehow end up messing it up. But whenever people encounter this problem, I really see it often that they blame it on either time trouble or miscalculation. How, oh,
Hmm.
I was winning, but I was in time trouble and just made that little mistake, or I was playing well and there was just this one blunder and then I lost. But I think that if it keeps happening over and over, then it's actually part of a bigger problem, which is you just don't know how to win winning positions. And
Yes.
yeah, I think it's a very common problem that I think almost every player encounters at some point in their careers, but happens at a different time for everyone. And like you said, I think very can be very much attributed to some psychological factors that there's just too much pressure, or maybe you just get too relaxed when you see you're winning. Um, and part of it could be lack of experience in some areas, like end games. If you keep getting technical end games and you don't know how to win them, or maybe did that hit too close to home?
It hurts here in my heart. Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So do you find that you're more focused a when you're in a better position or when you're in a worse position, or is it the same?
Oh, that is a very, very good question. I have to actually think about this for a short moment. I think it might be the same because um, I am uncomfortable. So sometimes I probably let's I have to roll this up from the bottom. So if I have a better position according to the engine, right? I won like a piece, I won a knight, but my king is very open, and now I'm very vulnerable to attacks. Technically, a grandmaster or the better player will probably always defend correctly and win the position due to due to the winning of the, let's say, knight or something. But I normally am more comfortable with the attacking position.
Mhm.
So I'm more often the person who is sacrificing a piece to get at more advantage position. Does that make
Mhm.
sense?
Yeah, yeah, that
Yeah,
that does
and
make sense.
so I if I have, yeah, but we're talking about this is something different. I think I'm going into a different direction. So in a winning position, yeah, sometimes it depends. It really depends. I can't give a clear
Mhm.
answer to this. I think it's vice versa at points. Sometimes I'm
Yeah.
more focused even when I'm in a bad position because, yeah, I also had this feeling that sometimes I can turn around the bad position and get a
Yeah.
better position because, yeah, it happens on the other hand too.
Yeah, I think personally I play better when I'm in a worse position. because when you're worse, you kind of have to put everything into maintaining the position, and you're trying to be as annoying as you can, as pose as many problems as you have, and you have nothing to lose.
Yeah, good
Um,
point.
so so yeah, I wouldn't say you're relaxed when you're winning, but I think you're just a lot more motivated to get out of your bad position and put a bit more effort um, into into playing better.
Yeah.
So, well, before we get our answer to the question how to win better positions, I'll show some games, some of which are my games,
Mhm.
um, and if you don't mind, I have a personal story of why this topic is so dear to me. Yeah.
Please share it.
Okay. Well, like I said, I think a struggle with converting advantages reaches everyone at some point
Mhm.
in their career, but when I encountered it, it was the most inconvenient time. It was at my first Olympiad, and this was in 2018, so in Batumi, and it was the first time that I've ever made it to the Canadian Women's Olympiad team.
Mhm.
Um, I was 14, about to turn 15, and before the tournament, I was in a very good playing shape. I will make the big reveal of how it ended after this
Okay.
after this example. But it was an interesting final result. So in the first round, we were playing a team from Uganda. We're all 700 more points, higher rated than our opponents.
Yeah.
Everyone is predicting that it's going to be an easy 4-0. But I distinguished myself from the rest of my team, and not in a good way. Um, I completely butchered a winning position, and I messed it up so badly that I even had to fight for a draw in the end. And it did end up being a draw, but I'll give credit to my opponent because she played well, and she even went on to, I think, get a title at that Olympiad, which was really
Oh,
phenomenal for her rating.
nice.
But yeah, I was completely winning in that game. But
So this was also, I mean, Uganda. So this was the Queen of Katwe. You were that was
I
this.
wasn't playing against the Queen of Catwood
Yes,
because
yes,
I was,
but the team was playing against the Queen of Katwe, which we also were talking about in the Rapid interview. So it all
yeah,
comes back to one again. So keep on. Yes.
it does. So back to the story, I made a fantastic entrance into the Olympiad,
Mhm.
and but I was given another chance by my captain. So here we are in round two. This is the position that we have on the board, and we were playing against Moldova, and this time I had a stronger opponent. She was an IM, and also coincidentally, she's my name twin, except her name is spelled with an E. So yeah, she was my name twin.
Ah, okay.
Um, so this is the position that we have, and we are on move 9. And I think she played either she tried to confuse me out of the opening, or I don't really know, but she played quite a suspicious line as black. And I would like you to basically find a plan that you would go for as white, and what you think the evaluation of this position is.
All righty, here we go. So, also for you at home, this is the position we already had a little bit of time to look at it. What do you remember the opening? What was played? Um,
Uh, it it was the Austrian in the
mhm.
perk defense. I actually really recommend it for anyone who's a very tactical player,
Nice.
likes attacking. I think you would like it.
Yeah, yeah. Because I'm seeing, I'm like a bit suspicious about the F pawn on F4, but that's nice. Yeah. So okay, F5 was the last move played by Svetlana, not Svitlana. And
Mhm.
what would be a good plan for white? So, hmm. Okay, evaluation of the position. So, I think it is good to get the king into a secure spot for white. That would be one thing I would think of first. So it might be a bit dangerous to go to the king side, but castling to the queen side is one idea I have in mind. Uh, um, then there is this knight on g4. But if I would move the h3 pawn forward, no, actually, well, yeah, then it goes even further back. So that might be a nice idea. But I definitely would not try to either catch the or capture the f or the d pawn, because it will open up the line on the e line. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I think you're on a good track, and I'll put the first move out there for you because you already named it. So it's h3,
Ha. Okay.
uh, pushing the knight back. But I think the harder part is to find the next part of the plan. But you're focused a lot on king safety, which I completely understand. But well, actually, maybe I'll just say it already. But white is already almost winning.
Huh. That. Oh, right. Okay. Now I.
Almost maybe like 1.2, 1.3, 1.4. Like it was getting really close to a winning evaluation.
Huh. Oh, that is interesting. Okay. Now. Oh. So that. Yeah. Have you, dear viewer, already an idea of why white is already winning? Because when I look at this position, I think I prefer white, but I cannot see a straight out plan to. Well, one idea I had anyway was to play the queen on e2 and
Mhm.
strengthen. Yeah, first of all, I can castle queen side, and then I can also strengthen this e pawn, which is very much in the front. Also, I can see the knight could go to g5 at one point. And but there might be a different threat which I completely missed at the moment, and maybe you
There
need
is
to help me
another
here.
plan. If you play queen e2, I think there might be b4 coming, and then your knight is gonna have to go somewhere to a4 or d1,
Yeah,
which is
not.
not the end of the world, but it's something quicker. It's just an idea to which black doesn't really have a defense.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, even yeah. Oh, okay, no defense. Wow.
Well, it's an idea. It's not.
Yeah.
Don't look for like mate right away.
Yeah, yeah. This
But
is what I, of course, often try to do to find like this absolute crazy move. But yeah, when we're having this coaching, it's most often a more subtle idea. So, what happens if I push forward the e6 pawn and then get the knight to g5? Does this? But it doesn't help me. I have no plan for this. No, Svetlana, you have to help me here, please.
okay. Well, it's well, I don't know if I should give you a hint or give it to you right away. I'll give you one more move. It's
Okay.
h4, which looks unnatural because you just played h3, right?
Indeed.
But the idea is that if the h file opens, then you're pretty much winning as white because you have your queen coming there, you have your knight coming there, and black's pieces are really not coordinated. Barely anything is developed from the queen side. So h4 is the idea, and the thing is, there is no way to stop h5 and
This
open
is
the h file.
yes. Oh, and this is actually a move I would probably play often enough on my own. But as you just completely pointed out, it was so unnatural with h3. And but it h3 is actually necessary to play h4, because like this you won this tempo by pushing the knight back to h6.
Yeah,
Before.
and plus there's no h5 now
Exactly,
because the knight is on
exactly.
h6.
Ah,
Yeah.
lovely.
So I found this move, except I didn't find the third move in the sequence. And okay, so queen e8, and I was supposed to play h5 here and just go through with the plan, but I decided that no, I had time. I can bring my pieces in, and I played knight e2. But I'll show you why h5 pretty much wins. This was the
Hmm.
first winning opportunity that I had in this game, which I'll have you. So now the reason why I didn't play this is I thought knight h4 and kind of everything is blocked. Try to find a really nice tactic here as white. I didn't find it in the game.
Okay. Oh,
This one is
well, I have the feeling I'm losing too many. Ah, it is working. Is it knight on h7? Knight
yeah,
takes
it's knight
h7?
h7
Yeah,
and then queen g4. And
exactly.
I thought
Yeah.
that was amazing that there were two pawns protecting it, but neither of them could take
That
it.
is crazy. Yes. Nice one.
Yeah, so this was basically the winning line. But I didn't see knight h7, and I thought that I could spend some more time bringing pieces in and helping h5. And actually, that's one of the things is when you have an advantage is recognizing what type of advantage you have, whether it's permanent or if it's temporary one. And here, my advantage is not as permanent as I thought it was. Basically, it's a very temporary one because once Black develops the rest of his pieces and maybe starts an attack of his own, then I won't have an advantage. So, so yeah, I'll fast forward a little bit. So now, because I took a bit more time to play h5, Black got the chance to trade one of my really important attacking pieces, bishop on d3, and it's not really the same without it. But I still tried to go for the attack. I still maintained some attacking ideas. And how about maybe here? What would be the plan that you would go for to maybe to keep attacking?
Keep the pressure on. Okay, let's take a look.
I'll make the
So,
first move to make you feel better about the king.
thank you. Okay, yeah, this is actually very helpful. Good. So now we are trying. So this is what I'm learning when I'm attacking. Try to get all the pieces into the attack. But maybe there's a quicker way now. So okay, I cannot move the G pawn. The bishop. It's so funny that the bishop is on G1. That is. It started on c1 at one point. Funny.
Yeah.
Is there any tactical advantage? No.
It's basically
I think I
actually,
got it.
what is it?
I think I got it because the castling was helpful to play this move. Is it rook on d3?
Yeah, it's a rook lift, rook d3,
Okay.
which I didn't play. I played knight g3. But rook d3 was a really helpful way to bring the rook into the game, and it's not really winning yet, but I think it's a really unpleasant position to play as Black.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So
Nice.
that was the move, but I brought the knight instead, and it's still a good position, maintaining some attacking chances. And at this point, my opponent plays bishop g2, and I just like that can't be right. You can't possibly take the pawn on g2 and get away with it.
Yes.
And
I agree. That's very naughty.
and at this point, I think that this attack should be enough to already win after Black mistakenly took the pawn. But basically, the question is, yeah, I took that, and the question is, how do you win here as White? It's not that clear. There's no tactical solution yet, but again, it's just about finding plans. So
I get it. Yeah.
what next?
Okay, so I think a good plan would be, this is the first thing which comes in mind. Also, of course, for you at home, you can always pause the video, obviously, and try to think for yourself. It doesn't always have to be the tactical moves. That's the thing I have to learn very often because it's already tempting. But I would love to attack by playing the bishop to f2 and then the rook to g1.
That is exactly what I played, and that is not the right solution.
Oh, no.
The better move was again bringing the rook to g3, and it was by playing rook h3. And I'll show you why bishop f2 is wrong in a second. But
Oh,
rook h3 is better. So we can't go rook g2 because of the bishop. So we have
sure.
to move somewhere else with our rook. And later, this plan actually is amazing. I don't think I would have found it, but bishop e3 and bishop d2, moving the bishop to b4, which was a really nice bishop maneuver. And this is in case the king runs away from the g file.
Hmm.
So that would be that was a nice plan. But bishop f2 is what we both thought,
It
and
looks
the
so
problem
good, right?
is, yeah, it does. But now apparently rook h8 equalizes, which I don't think that's a move any human would ever want to
Jesus,
play. Um,
no.
so yeah, so that's why bishop f2 is not exactly a mistake, but technically it does give up the advantage. But I'm not really a big fan of looking at computer evaluations because I
Hmm.
don't think they're always the same as really being there during the game.
Yes.
Um, so
Yeah, and I also, by the way, no, 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 I'm just messing it up. No, no, but I thought like, if you trade the queen for two minor pieces and the rook, but I don't think it will sum up. I just saw the move knight to g4 with the yeah, but it no no
yeah,
no 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 no, it's not working. I
yeah, but still, that's why bishop f2 is not really, because there's always like some knight g4 possibility.
yeah.
And now at this point, this position is winning by either rook d to h1, which I cannot believe that I didn't see. Um, or maybe I was thinking about something else, but there was also a harder way to win, which was d5, and it's more tactical at this point. But that's the thing. Once I think you mess up one like winning chance, it gets harder and
Hmm.
harder to find it later, and
Yes.
yeah, it just gets harder, which is why it's usually so difficult. Well, I focused on kind of the wrong target. I decided to go for the e7 pawn when I should have been going for the h7 pawn.
Hmm.
That's actually could I was trying to make it like a principle of two weaknesses because one of them was the h7 pawn and the other one is d6 and e7, which
Exactly. Yeah.
is which is a pretty important principle. I'm sure you heard of it. Um, so yeah, I felt like I had a lot of targets to attack, and um, I started attacking the wrong one, and that kind of lost time in my attack.
Hmm.
Um, I think in this situation when you know you're winning and you're already, well, I didn't know I was winning, but I felt like this position was really
I
really
would
good.
I would definitely prefer to be white here. Yes, that's
Yeah.
sometimes you have. How is it? So, are you like normally trying naturally to evaluate after almost every move, or do you just have this kind of instinct after playing thousands and thousands of chess games that you go like, this looks better. I feel better with that.
I actually like to think about. I don't like evaluating the position after every move. Like if it's a mistake, if the opponent makes a mistake and you just
Hmm.
have a feeling, no, that's a mistake. Like I must be better after this. Then yes, but overall, I think in those situations, there's one advice that I was given by my former coach. His name was Miladin, and I think it's the best advice that I've ever got. It was to think about a game move by move, not think about what the evaluation is right now, not to think about the outcome of the game or the outcome of the tournament or whatever else, but just treat it as a uh, every position move by move. And so evaluating it is not going to help you find the best
Hmm.
moves and win the game.
Mm-hmm. It's funny. I'm laughing a bit. It's funny because I was asking quite a similar question to Elisabeth Peetz, and she kind of answered exactly that. The grandmaster told her what you just said. So this seems to be a really, really, really important lesson. Since you're now the second person who has a big chess knowledge, is also promoting this way of thinking about a chess game. Yeah, but easier said than done, I guess. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, well, after bishop h4, the position kind of gets stabilized, and because the knight comes to g4 and kind of closes everything down, there was the last chance to play d5 and confuse, uh, make it
Oh,
more confusing. And
difficult.
I would have been slightly better at that point, but I don't think it's really worth going into details because, yeah, basically everything is stabilized at this point, and there were not that many chances after for the whole game, and it ended in a draw like this. I still tried, took over the B file, but it wasn't really enough. So I think the takeaway would be is that some advantages are if it's an advantage in development or if you have an attack going on, it's not always going to be there.
Yeah.
So so during the game, if you determine what type of advantage you have, it should give you a clear idea of what course of action to take. If it's a permanent advantage, then obviously it has to be something quick, like opening the H file and looking for tactics. So and then maybe transforming your temporary advantage into a more sustainable one, like winning a pawn or ruining the opponent's pawn structure or something like that. So yeah, but that was my second draw in the tournament from a winning position. But unfortunately, that story doesn't end there, and there is another game that comes after.
Okay.
I think this was in a later round, but again, the opening is not of too much relevance here.
Sure.
But this is the King's Indian. Do you play the King's Indian?
No, never.
No? Oh my God, that's.
I'm sorry, everybody. I didn't want to offend anybody.
No, but it's you're missing out. It's I love the King's Indian. It's again. I thought you said you were like an attacking player. Wouldn't this be perfect?
This is so interesting that you're telling this because I have in mind that this is like it's a boring opening, but it isn't approximately because I've heard a couple of players already say like, wait, that's where you get the sharpest positions ever.
Yeah. Are you playing d4 d5?
Yeah.
And you're telling me the King's Indian is boring?
I play d4, d5, and after c4, I play e5.
Okay, so that's a little less boring, but also a little less sound. But I've played that before too.
Might be okay. Nice. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, King's Indian it is, and it's approximately a very very sharp opening. And yes, I can confirm that from looking at the position already here. That's pretty open.
Yeah. Well,
crazy.
This was. I think was partially my preparation worked, and I got a really nice position out of the opening, and I was up a pawn as black out of the opening, which is a great position to get. Let's see.
Technically, black is already better, right?
Yes. So that's why I'm giving you positions where you have an advantage as the side you're playing as, but
and this is exactly what I'm.
Not always.
It's exactly what you. Sorry to interrupt you, but it is exactly this thing. So if you at home have the feeling that, like, yes, you have a pawn more, and you actually should win this. Normally, I feel more uncomfortable in a position like this with black, and I cannot tell you why. So to answer the very first question you were asking me, I think I play worse when I have a better position. I think I can confirm this because now it's pretty straightforward here.
Yeah. So that's exactly what has been happening to me during this tournament, and I think it's most people because you put more pressure on yourself to win a game where you have an extra pawn. So anyway, I think this is the point where it's pretty stable. Black is up a pawn. So how would you proceed as black?
Offer a draw.
For a draw.
Okay, jokes aside. So how would I proceed? So, I mean, I think I would try to, in some way, I would try to exchange a couple of more pieces since I am a pawn up. And I don't like that white has two bishops because even this very weird move, bishop h3, it looks to me as if I would not like it because at one point maybe the white king can go to h1 and then the rook can go to the g file, and out of a sudden this open g line is a bit dangerous. So I think The main idea for black is to try to defend or make the position a bit more stable, maybe, but I wouldn't know how because I'm
It's more
absolutely
about just improving one of your pieces, and it's not the most obvious piece to improve.
okay.
But yeah, it's about improving pieces for now.
Okay, so improving pieces. So well, good. Then I will do it as the very first thought I had was taking the rook from A to E8.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's not the move. We're
Okay.
improving another piece, but yeah, I think that's the other mm, move that makes sense. That
Mm-hmm.
makes sense here. So that one is good. But there's another piece that actually, like I told you, it's not the most obvious piece.
Yeah. So I mean it is actually the knight, and it goes to D7 because
Yeah,
it gets much better squares on E5 with a little maneuver.
right. So knight g4, knight d7 is the same idea. They're exactly the same
Okay.
because knight is going to d5 either way. So then you might get the chance to trade the bishops, but actually it might be better to still keep that knight there and force white to take it, because if they don't take it, then
Mm.
knight can go to d3 or take on c4. So it basically, and if white doesn't play bishop b2, then you just get an amazing square for the knight. So
Mm-hmm.
then they traded, and in situations like this, we all know the rule that opposite colored bishops are very drawish, but
Mm-hmm.
not when you have queens on the board, and they
Okay.
usually benefit the attacker. So that's one of the rules, that opposite colored bishops benefit the attacker, and I think that's the case here, that black has more chances for an attack with maybe some f4 later. Okay,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
c6 d5 first, but then f4,
So I feel
and
much more comfortable with this position right now, out of a sudden, and it just changed in two moves. So it's a good
yeah, it's
point.
because we got rid of the bishop pair.
Yes.
I played d6 and trying to play d5, so I went for that plan instead. But that opens up the b file, which I didn't realize was going to be such a huge deal for white,
Yeah.
but it is, because it finally gives the white rooks something to do. So we're continuing here. I'll skip over a few,
Sure.
and I finally got at least some sort of breakthrough going on here, and
Huh.
some hint of an attack. So at this point, basically, how would you evaluate this position as black? What do you feel? What do you feel the evaluation could be?
I think this is good attacking chances for black now because now the white king is a bit more open. The knight is already there. The bishop the bishop is very strong. Then the queen is lined up with the rook. I just wonder if there are enough pieces to maybe have a nice tactic or positional idea. Then again, I have to look at d6, of course, because that is hanging around a little bit. So I would like to play c5, I think.
I think that's
Oh
one of
gosh,
the possible moves, but
yeah.
um, it's one of the possible moves. But there are a few things that are better. And well, I am assuming your evaluation was that like black is maybe slightly to a bit better.
Hmm.
Black is winning, which
Hmm.
is something you don't really realize. But black is winning, and it's not about the pawn this time. It's more about better piece activity. And the
Oh.
move here was c5. I think doesn't ruin it that much. Black would still, I think, be clearly better after. But queen e2 is the winning move, and that forces the queen trade, which you would think doesn't help the attack, but it really does, because all of black's pieces are coming into play, and they're going to have the knight coming, and basically either winning something on g3, or there's going to be some other tactic. a2 is hanging, and this is a winning ending. um, I I don't know if I was greedy, but I took on c4 instead, and that seemed that also seemed good, and it still maintains a winning position. But it gets a little harder move by move. So again, at this point, I'm up 2 pawns, except white is going to have some initiative with rook b7. So my king can never come out now and help my pawns move. But again, this should be a winning endgame. 2 fast connected pawns should be easy. But I managed to find a way to not win, and so it went on like this. I'm up 3 pawns at this point, but
oh, this is
no,
scary
not
on
up 3.
both sides here, I have to say.
But yeah, so we get to this position, and I think this was the critical moment in the game, and it's move 39. Move 39 is known to be a very stressful one because it's right
Indeed.
before move 40 when you get additional 30 minutes added to your clock. And so imagine, how about I give you this? Imagine you have 30 seconds and you have to think of a plan fast. So what do you play?
Well, immediately rook to h2.
Yeah, that's what I played. And I was trying to calculate the whole line. And what stressed me out here is that we arrive at move 40 and I don't get my 30 minutes. And I was wondering if it was a clock problem or if it was I didn't write down the moves correctly and we're not at move 40 yet. But it turns out it was the clocks that added 30 minutes after you ran out of time. So after move 40, you have to flag for them to add 30 minutes.
Oh,
so
no.
That's
okay.
how they worked. And I was really stressed out because I wasn't getting my 30 minutes.
Oh, I hate it when something like this happens.
But yeah, it was still fine because I could have made some.
Oh, your internet connection. It broke. Oh. Sveta.
This was supposed to be winning, and
Stop. I'm sorry, but unfortunately you were gone for like I think 10 seconds. I'm sorry.
Okay. No, it's fine.
Yeah, just try to get back to the last 10 seconds of what you said. So it was unclear with the time, and then that from there on, please.
Yeah, it was unclear with the time. I wasn't sure if when the 30 minutes were gonna add, but later we fixed it with the arbiter, so it was fine. But this is a winning position yet again, and the winning plan is, of course, pushing the c pawn forward. And I tried to do just that. And yeah, let's go maybe to this point. Again, winning position. Can you win this as black?
Oh, yeah, interesting. Well, it looks... Oh, it's gonna be much more difficult than I think it would be. Well... Naturally, it looks as if pushing the c3 pawn forward and trying to advance it to c2 is a good idea.
Sure, let's move to that. And then you said c2, rook c8, and this was the problematic moment for me.
That is a bit of a problem. Check. Oh, I know it though, I think. Is it check on f2 with the rook, and then you just take away the
I don't think it's check.
Not working.
I don't think it's check on f2.
Oh, is it? It's not working at all. No, what was I thinking? So check on h1 then, but that also cannot help. Oh, so what to do here? Maybe just leave the pieces as they are and move the king forward. Yeah,
exactly. So that was the win. It was fairly simple to just leave the pieces there and move the king forward. King g6 wins. Right, but what I was calculating is bishop b2 because I wanted to advance my pawn. And then I noticed that there's king g1, and this is a draw because my rook has nowhere to go other than e2 here. And then the king just keeps chasing it. And it would be a draw, which I didn't want. And because of this, I went bishop f6 earlier here. Don't know how that helps, but I went for something else because I thought, no, c3, c2 doesn't work. But that king g6 just moving the king up was a pretty simple win. And at the end of the day, again, this was a draw and ended in something like this. So I
Oh,
think,
damn it. You must have been a bit frustrated, right?
yeah, a bit frustrated. So to finish the story is,
Yes.
um, so which score I ended the tournament with. So I played 9 games, and out of those 9 games, I had 2 wins and 7 draws.
Oh,
And
wow.
it was frustrating because most of these draws I was winning, but some I wasn't. Maybe one or two. One of them I saved, but the rest I was just not winning positions. And
Hmm.
my team and our captains also made fun of me. They would be like, Svitlana, have you been inspired by Anish Giri by any chance? And things like that. And or when I was joining the table for dinner, no one would even ask how I played. They would just be like, okay, draw. That's
Oh,
that's whatever.
the
But
pain.
um but yeah, it was quite funny how like I've never had this many draws happen to me. But of course I was making them because I wasn't winning the positions that were supposed to be winning.
Hmm.
Um in my defense, I have an excuse is that I had 6 or 7 blacks in that tournament because I was alternating board 3 and board 4. So
Oh,
I played black a lot, but of course that's not an excuse.
yeah.
That's just yeah, in reality I didn't know how to win winning positions.